Hello, and welcome to the Vision Systems Design Tech Summit Quick Chat with BitFlow. My name is Dennis Semeka, Associate Editor at Vision Systems Design. Today, I'll be speaking with Donal Waide, Director of Sales at BitFlow. A full bio for Donal can be found by clicking on the speaker's name below the video. Donal, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, Dennis.
Since the inception of modern machine vision, frame grabbers have been considered an integral technology. Can you give us an explanation of the basic principles behind frame grabbers and how they are used in machine vision?
So basically, a frame grabber is in essence what it's actually described as. It grabs frames from the camera and transmits them into memory, typically the CPU, for processing at a later time. So sometimes it's processing on the fly, other times it's storage for processing at a later time. The frame grabber is integral to the camera in the fact that because of the high data rates of certain cameras, because of the sensor size, you need a dedicated piece of I/O to transmit the data from the camera into memory.
BitFlow has recently introduced the Axion XB frame grabber series. What makes the Axion XB frame grabber unique?
So a little bit of history here. BitFlow has been in the process of building frame grabbers since 1993. So we're closing in on 30 years. And because we have focused on this one aspect of machine vision, this is something that we have become experts in. As time goes by, we're well aware of how technology gets faster, gets cheaper, gets more advanced and things like that. And during this, what you have is you have components that will change and evolve over time. So BitFlow brought out the Axion XB series this past January. It is our seventh generation of frame grabbers that we've brought out for the CameraLink series. Our initial CameraLink frame grabbers would have come out in the early 2000s when the standard came about. But since then, time has evolved in terms of the processing power, the chips involved, and items like that. We have built the Axion XB series based on our successful Axion XE series, which handles other CameraLink other CameraLink cameras, but it's also built on our Co-Express technology, which is a technology designed to handle very high volumes of data.
So, as we just said, the CameraLink interface is 21 years old. It was developed back in 2000. Why do you think it remains a popular choice?
So CameraLink has been around since 2000 because a standard was needed for the number of different frame grabbers and cameras that were coming on the market. Customers were having issues with creating customized cables to get the LVDS data from one camera onto another frame grabber, and then having to change it all again on the next project. The CameraLink standard came from that LVDS system whereby you had 28 bits of data coming off in four different streams, with the fifth stream being the clock data. And what that allowed you to get was 24 bits of pixel data and then 3 bits of video synchronicity. The popularity of it is that it is a highly successful deterministic latency that you're working with. You do not get that with the other standards that are currently out there at the moment because of certain things such as CPU loads, CPU interrupts, and items like that. The frame grabber itself with CameraLink has absolutely no load on the CPU, and as a result, you know when your data is arriving for processing.
Looking to the future, what is the next step for companies that manufacture frame grabbers as vision and imaging needs evolve?
So I laugh at this one because as I sit I've been working for BitFlow for close on 11 years now. And every so often a new magazine comes out or a news article that tells us how the frame grabber is dead. And this came with the advent of FireWire, the advent of gigabit Ethernet cameras, USB cameras, USB 3 cameras, etc., and things like that. But you have to look at the bigger picture. Right now, we look at the amount of data that's coming in, and this is like across the globe, not just machine vision. But the more data that you have, the more knowledge you can glean from any item. We'll take a simple example, such as your phone that you have in your hand. When you drop your phone, probably for the 14th or the 15th time, it'll crack. And where that crack propagates from is the weakest link. Now, when you first bought your phone and paid like $1,000 for it, you could not see any kind of microfissure or any kind of indentation, which would indicate the weakness. Using machine vision, the glass for these phone cameras or phone surfaces has been tested down to submicron levels. As phones get dropped more and more, as we want them to become more robust, we're looking for an almost flawless glass. And using high resolution cameras and frame grabbers to bring this data in for processing has become something of a necessity. So what you need to do this is that the cameras are getting larger and larger sensors. The sensors are getting quicker and quicker. The amount of data coming in needs to be analyzed, and we do have the powerful CPUs and GPUs to do that. But in terms of the future of frame grabbers in this whole picture, is that with the volume of data coming in, we look at the next standard after Camera Link, which is CoExpress. And CoExpress has already evolved from CXP6, released in 2011, which is about 2.5 gigs of data per second, right up to 5 gigs of data per second, which was released last year. So that's one aspect of what's happening for the frame grabber companies. We're moving more and more towards CoExpress. The other thing is people are looking at longer distances because you may have a clean room or you may need to do longer runs. Camera Link was restricted on this to 4 to 5 meters. CoExpress is restricted to about 30 to 40 meters, depending on the data rate. But now we're looking at adding fiber in. And this is the next step for the frame grabber companies, having fiber as an option to allow us get larger volumes over larger distances. Okay,
that was our last question. I want to thank you again, Donal, for joining us today, for your time today.
Thank you very much, Dennis. It's been a pleasure.
Just a reminder for the audience that today's session will be available here within the 2021 Vision Systems Design Tech Summit platform for the next 30 days. On behalf of Vision Systems Design and our sponsor, BitFlow, we would like to thank you for joining us today.